Hi guys, welcome back to Beyond the Cowl. You've got Sammy here for Unit 1, Week 21, doing the crochet texture diagonal stitch. So I'm going to run you through if you're adding into your blanket or if you're doing a standalone stitch. The stitch calls for multiples of 10 plus 4. So for my example, I've done a chain of 20 plus 4, which will give us a total of 24 chains. 22 working stitches, I apologise. Now that's not entirely true because I have done my row of single crochet just to make it a little easier to demonstrate the stitches for you. If you're adding into your blanket, you're going to do your row of single crochet so you've got a nice foundation for the stitch, and to check your stitch count matches your original stitch count. Now you're going to want to do your row of single crochet with the right side of the blanket facing you, because the first row of the pattern you'll have the wrong side of the blanket facing you. So working into the blanket, first row with the wrong side of the blanket facing you, you're going to do a chain of 3, which will count as your first double crochet, and then double crochet into each stitch across. If you're doing this as a standalone stitch, you're going to chain your desired length, which is a multiple of 10 plus 4. You're going to skip 3 loops, and then you're going to double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook and into each chain across. So I have got 22 stitches, which I'm working into for this example. I'll let you guys work that row of double crochet, and I'll meet you back here for row 2. Okay, on to row 2. Done a chain of 1. Now if you're working into a blanket, you're going to single crochet into the first 5 stitches. If you're doing a standalone stitch, you're going to chain 1 and single crochet into the same stitch. And then you're going to make a ring of 10 single crochet around the next 2 double crochet as follows. So you're going to skip 1 double crochet, make 5 single crochet around the post of the second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're working down the post, then you're going to turn and work up the next double crochet, turn the other way and work up the post of the one you've skipped with the next 5 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can mark your first one so you don't work back into it. It is kind of noticeable, and then you're going to work a single crochet into each of the next 8 stitches and repeat. So 8 stitches, and then you're working your 10 single crochet around 2 double crochet from the previous round to get that nice loop. Oops, you're going to repeat that all the way across, finishing off with a single crochet into the 3rd loop of your turning chain 3, and I'll meet you back here for row 3. We finished around row 2, ready for row 3. So I've done a chain of 3, which will count as my first double crochet. If you're working into a blanket, you're going to double crochet into the next 4 stitches, and then you're going to follow this repeat. So chain of 3 is the first. We're going to double crochet into the next 8 stitches. double crochet into the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Working 2 double crochet into the first single crochet of your ring, which was the stitch that we had marked, because it kind of goes in and hides. 1, 2 into that stitch, and then we're going to repeat. So double crochet into the next 8 single crochet, then 2 double crochet into the first single crochet of the ring, repeating all the way across. You'll finish with a single double crochet in the last single crochet of the previous row if you're doing a standalone. If you're working into a blanket, you'll have 5 double crochet to finish out the row. And I'll meet you back here for row 4. Done a chain 1 to turn. That doesn't count as a stitch. If you're working a standalone, you're going to work a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. If you're working into an existing blanket, you're going to single crochet into the first 7 stitches. Okay, from there we're going to be following this repeat, so we're going to make a ring of 10 single crochet around the next 2 double crochet. So that's skipping 1, going into the second, working 5 single crochet, three, 4, 5, and then we're going back to our skipped one, so turning back on ourselves without tangling up the yarn would be handy. Oh, what have I done? Tangled up the yarn, didn't I? There we go. Okay. So we've worked our first 5. We're going to go back into the stitch that we skipped to work our next 5 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first 5 over the post of the first double crochet we're working down, and then we're going back to the one we missed and working back up. From there we're going to single crochet into the next 8 stitches. We're going to repeat that all the way to the end of our row. If you're working a standalone, you'll be single crocheting straight into the 3rd loop of the starting chain. You might not get your full 8, it'll be 6. And then single crochet in the 3rd loop of your starting chain. If you're working into your blanket, you'll be working a single crochet into the next 2 stitches and then doing a single crochet in the 3rd loop of your starting chain. I'll let you guys finish that repeat and I'll meet you back here for row 5. Okay, we finished row 4, we're ready for row 5. So we've just done a chain of 3 to turn, and that'll count as our first double crochet. Now if you're working a standalone project, you'll double crochet into each of the next single crochet. If you're working into your blanket, you'll double crochet into the next 10 single crochet. So I'm doing standalone, so into the next 6. 4, 5, 6, and then I'm working a double crochet into the first single crochet of that loop that we created. So 2 into that stitch, and then we repeat. So it'd be a double crochet into each of the next 8 single crochet, then 2 double crochet into the first single crochet of the ring, repeating all the way across. There'll only be 5 double crochet on your last repeat on a standalone stitch, 7 on if you're working into a blanket. Alright, and that's row 5. So work that all the way across, and I'll meet you back here for row 6. Okay, we finished round 5. We've got 2 gorgeous rows of loops working diagonally across our project. We're ready for row 6. So I've done a chain 1, which doesn't count as a stitch. Working a standalone, you're going to single crochet into the first 5 double crochet. Working into a blanket, you're going to single crochet into the first 9. Okay. Sorry, just when I thought I was organised, I was not. Okay. 5 single crochet because I'm doing standalone. 9 if you're working into your blanket. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to work one of our circles. So 10 single crochet over the 2 double crochet to form the ring. So we skip the first one. We work 5 double crochet around the post of the second double crochet. 2, 5 single crochet. 3, 4, 5, and then our next 5 we turn back and we go around the post of the double crochet that we missed with 5 more. From there, be single crochet into the next 8 stitches on a repeat until we reach the end, and I will meet you back here for row 7. Okay. Back for row 7, so I've done a chain 3 to turn, and that serves as my first double crochet. If you're working a standalone stitch, you're going to double crochet into the next 4 stitches. If you're working into your blanket, you're going to double crochet into the next 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to pop 2 double crochet into the first stitch of our ring. 1 and 2, and then it's just our repeat that we've used on the previous odd numbered rows, where we double crochet into each of the next 8 stitches and then pop 2 double crochet into the first single crochet of our ring. Now when you're reaching the end of the row, if you're working a standalone stitch, you're going to only have 5 double crochet left to do at the end of the row, and if you're working into a blanket, you will have 8, and then a double crochet into the very last stitch. I'll let you guys finish off that one, and I'll meet you back here for row 8. Okay, we're back ready for row 8. So I've done a chain 1 to turn, which doesn't count as a stitch. Now, we are working the same repetition, but you can see to get that beautiful diagonal, we're moving our stitch count on every row. So for row 8, we're going to single crochet into the first 7 stitches if we're working a standalone project. And and 11 stitches if we're working into our blanket. Seven. Oops. So annoying when that happens. Okay, we're skipping the next double crochet and starting our ring on the second. 5 single crochet down and then 5 up on the double crochet that we missed. Okay, after your ring, as on the previous even rows, we're going to single crochet into the next 8 stitches before forming our next ring. We're going to repeat that all the way across until we reach the end. Now if you're working a standalone project, at the end of this row you're going to be only going to be able to fit 2 single crochet on the last repeat before you single crochet into the 3rd loop of the starting chain. And if you are working into your blanket, there'll only be 6 on the last repeat, and then you'll single crochet into the 3rd loop of your starting chain. We're nearly finished going through the instructions for this beautiful stitch. I'll meet you back here for row 9. Okay, back ready for row 9. I've done a chain 3 as my first double crochet. Working a standalone, I'm going to double crochet into the next 2, single crochet. And if I'm working into my blanket, I'm going to be popping a double crochet into the first 6 stitches, then 2 double crochet into the first single crochet of our ring, then we're going to double crochet in the next 8 stitches, and then 2 double crochet in the first single crochet of our ring. So we'll repeat that all the way across. At the end of the row, it'll be 7 double crochet if you are working standalone stitch, and it will be 3 if you're working into your blanket. I'll meet you back here for row 10 once you've done those double crochet. I've done a chain 1, which doesn't count as a stitch. Now working a standalone, I'm going to single crochet into the first 9 stitches. Working into an existing blanket, I'll be working into the first 13 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops, slippery tonight. Now we're going to work our ring, so we're skipping the first double crochet, working 5 single crochet around the second, and then going back to work our second 5. After the ring, of course, we're going to single crochet into the next 8 stitches, and then we'll do another ring, repeating that all the way across to the end. If you're working a standalone, you'll only have the 1 single crochet into the 3rd loop of the starting chain when you do your last repeat. And if you're working into your blanket, you'll only have 4 single crochet on your last repeat, and then the single crochet that you put into the 3rd loop of your starting chain. Alright, I'll meet you back here for row 11, which is our final row of this pattern. See you soon. And then a double crochet into each of the next 8 stitches, repeating all the way across to the end. On your last repeat, you'll just be doing a double crochet in the last single crochet after your final repeat. If you're working into a blanket, you'll only have 5 double crochet on your last repeat, and then you're ready to turn. So that's our final row. I hope you've enjoyed hooking up this beautiful stitch as much as I have. It's the textured diagonal stitch, and if you're wanting to do a whole project with it or some more rows after those 11, you just repeat rows 2 to 11. That's it, guys. Have a fantastic day, and until next time, happy hooking.